Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick reminder tomorrow, starting tomorrow on the 20th, you can get any item at my store 40% off. And just want to use the Most High New Year 26 promo code on Etsy and Shopify, and you get an automatic discount at checkout on TikTok. So take advantage and stock up on this deal. All right, y'all. So there was a story that went viral online. EJ Johnson did an interview, and in this interview, he was boasting about how good he looks, and he looks better than all women. And, you know, the clothes, he always have better clothes. But, let's be fair. EJ grew up in a wealthy family. His father was a multi-million-dollar basketball player. So yeah, you can buy all the top designing clothes and shoes and do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, honey, you can beat yourself upside the head all day long with makeup, you still look like a dude. Okay, you still look like a dude. And normally I don't do any type of trans or um, gay or LGBTQ. And some people used to get mad. I've done a few in the past. And if the story was something they didn't like, they came at me like I wrote the story against them. And see, after experiencing that a few times, that's why I don't touch those stories anymore. I see them out there just like anybody else, but I don't touch those stories anymore. Mm-mm. You ain't coming at me like that. So, anyway, here's the problem that a lot of people have with what EJ said, that he looks better than all women when he's in a room. First of all, the dude is 6'7". And honey, I don't care what wigs you put on, what makeup you put on, 6'7", you still look like a man. And no, you do not look better than all women. Yeah, you might have the designer clothes. Like I said, you came from a wealthy family. So I that part I understand, but all the other parts. And then um here's the part that I think a lot of the women in our community had a problem. If you want to feel good about yourself or you think you look good, why do you always got to step on other women, especially black women? Why do you have to step on somebody in order to prop yourself up to feel good? And that's where a lot of people took offense to what he was saying. And no, honey, uh, you do not look better than all women. That is, I guess it took a lot for you to believe that, but no, you don't look better than all women. And I don't mean no harm, but dude also looks a little cross eyed to me, but y'all be the judge of that. When I look at pictures of him, he looks slightly cross eyed. And no, no. So I think, his looks, that's a matter of opinion. Maybe somebody that is like him may think he looks great, and you're allowed to believe that. But again, why do you got to step on all women in order to feel good about how you look? Then he says he never dates gay men. He only dates straight men. Well, EJ, then they can't be straight if they're dating you. They can't be straight. They may be some down low guys, something like that, but they can't be straight if they're dating you. Okay. But I just thought that was a crazy point that he made. But that's what he said. But I'm going to play the interview and I want you to hear the reaction plus the things that he said. So y'all buckle up because you're going to be in for a ride. All right, y'all, you know what to do. Give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you.
This, especially if I look cuter than any girl does. Like, what's the problem? Like, what's the issue? And that's exactly how I apply it to myself to these days in the way that I present, like in my, in my feminine regalia. I've always been a feminine being, and like that's just like how I best express myself. But I'm like, listen, I'm out all the time, and like I'm killing a dress and no one else is. Like the girls in the room are not doing it. Like they don't look cute. They're not dressed to any nines. So, I love it. You can I don't attract gay men, and I'm not attracted to gay men. Like it's just not a thing.
Tell me more about that.
It's just, I think like if you ask any of the girls, like they'll tell you the same. And I think they're just labels. That's why like I don't care what, like I'm dating someone. I'm like, I don't care what you identify as or what you call yourself, as long as you're happy being who you are. But no, but to be honest, it's like that's why I don't go to gay clubs. I don't go to, gay things, because it's like the men that I attract are not there. And also like they're like, they kind of like wave you off. You're just like, oh, that, hey girl, like, it's not, you're not in here like the rest of us are.
I don't even know where to start. So I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with the host first, because first off, host, Mr. Sir, I don't know your name, host, but to be clocking the tea at his room at EJ Johnson's remarks about how he looks better than women in outfits. Sir, if you don't have several seats, please have several seats. EJ, you know what? If he wants to have that confidence and say that he looks better than most girls in a skirt, then EJ, do you? I just personally don't think you look better than majority of women in women's clothes, but that's just me. But let's get to what he said about straight men. The word of today is going to be delusional. The only individuals that believe that men that have sexual relations with other men is considered still being straight are down low men. Gay men know that other men that have sexual dealings with other men are gay. Women know that men who have sexual relationships, any type of sexual contact with another man is gay. Do you? Do you? If that is your lifestyle, by all means, fine. But please don't change the definition of a straight man versus a gay man. Gay is gay, straight is straight. A man that is straight will not be dealing with a man sexually. They just won't. That's not the definition of a straight man. I don't know why people always want to just change the definition of words. It's really that simple. Down low men, if you are someone that would mess with an EJ Johnson, you are not straight, you are gay, and that is cool. Live your life. Live your life. I ain't gonna be the one to judge you. There's only one entity that's gonna be able to judge you. Actually, that's gonna be able to judge all of us, and that is God and God Himself. But please, let's not live in a state of delusion. EJ, honey, I think you thought you ate, but you really didn't eat. Have several seats. That's it.
First and foremost, shout out to Carlos King for hosting such a phenomenal episode and holding space for such a nuanced, complicated, ongoing, but important topic. Now, there are a lot of things that have been clipped out of this interview, and one of the clips that have gone viral that is a topic that is close to my heart is when a gay, femme presenting man has to compare himself and put down women in order to uplift his image. This is another example of just because you're queer does not absolve you of misogyny.
This, especially if I look cuter than any girl does. Like, what's the problem? Like, what's the issue? And that's exactly how I apply it to myself to these days in the way that I present, like in my, in my feminine regalia. I've always been a feminine being, and like that's just like how I best express myself. But I'm like, listen, I'm out all the time, and like I'm killing a dress and no one else is. Like the girls in the room are not doing it. Like they don't look cute. They're not dressed to any nines. So yeah.
See, and the thing about it is that women do not care about this like secret competition or tongue-in-cheek comments or just comparison of like, well, I look better than any woman. And it's just like, we're not even we're trying to survive the patriarchy and the oppression of our actual anatomical rights, and you're worried about looking better than us. How is that being an ally? Not to mention the privilege and his proximity to celebrity, to those celebrity places, and also his daddy's money. The privilege alone in being able to like operate in his space as a femme presenting person. Like, what is even the conversation? Not to mention, men, I promise you, men don't care what you look like at the end of the day. A warm hole is a warm hole, I guarantee you. So as much as you're peacocking and having this like silent fake competition with other women, I promise you they're getting the same men. Promise you. But this right here is exactly what we mean. We don't care what you call yourself. We don't care. But to talk down about women in the same breath is the misogyny that we keep talking about and keep complaining about, and it's not necessary. It's very mean girl, very mean girl.
If you wear a size 27 shoe and you 7'5" with a 7-foot wingspan from fingertip to fingertip, I don't care how much makeup you put on. I don't care how many expensive dresses you put on. I don't care what type of heels you put on them 27 size shoe feet. I don't care how prissy you are. You cannot clear a woman on her worst day. You cannot clear the blueprint of what you're trying to be, EJ Johnson. I don't know if y'all saw that, where he was talking about how he doesn't attract straight men. He doesn't attract gay men. He only attracts straight men. And that every time he walks into a room, he always looks better than all the women in there. And he gets like all the men or whatever, they're all attracted to him, I guess. And he just clears all the women because they never look good. They don't look as good as he does. And it's like, you know what, no shade. But clearly, and it was funny is that I think that he actually believes the lies that he tells himself. EJ, baby, you're still a man. I know you like dresses and makeup, and I know you like pretty things. I do too. But you're still a man. So if a man is sleeping with you or wants to sleep with you or wants to have a romantic relationship or connection with you, he's gay, honey. You don't attract straight men.
EJ Johnson got in that interview and said he can wear a skirt because he looks just as good as any woman that wears a skirt. I don't care how many wigs a man put on. I don't care how many nails. I don't care what dress you wear, what eyelashes you put on, or what makeup you put on. You will never beat a woman at being a woman. And then he goes on to say that he only dates straight men. No, sir. No, sir. Any man that is willing to lay down with EJ Johnson is not a straight man. With all due respect, a straight man won't even look your way. A straight man won't even give you the time of day. We got to stop putting this narrative on straight men like all straight men like men in some form of aspect. No, we don't. DL men that hide what they like, yeah, they might do it. But a real straight man, stop putting us in that category, man. Stop putting us in that category. It's like the world will not stop talking until they recognize all straight men as GAY. And I'm not going for it, bro. I'm not going for it, for real.
Now, this kind of carrying on and delusion has to be studied. So let me just set the record straight. If a man is ever looking at another man, especially if he is 6 foot tall with a size 47 foot and wanting to be intimate with that man is not a straight man. That man is a damn low man. So the fact that you are even in competition with a woman and seeing that you are not attracted to gay men. Now, I understand you saying you are attracted to masculine men because there are masculine gay men out there. But for you to say that you are attracted to non-gay men is kind of weird to me because it gives that you like creeping around with down low men that are involved with women or have been involved with women. And it's solely based off the fact that you are in competition with the next woman. Now, when it comes down to these men, I never heard of a woman, fighting to stay in a marriage with a man or even a relationship with a man that has been cheating behind her back with a man. So I feel like these kind of people get a kick out of kind of being chosen over another woman or another person, or they love that feeling and that thrill of being sneaky and sneaking around until it's not fun anymore and you want to be showed off and you want to be appreciated and you want the world to know about your relationship. And for the record straight, I had no problem with the gay community at all whatsoever. This is just my take on this kind of situation and this kind of mindset or thought pattern that appears in even straight people. So gay and straight, but let me know what you guys think down in
even when I was a kid and like they were like, well, you can't wear skirts, and I was like, well, why not? It's like my inner being was like, there's nothing wrong with this, especially if I look cuter than any girl does. Like, what's the problem? I'm out all the time, and like I'm killing a dress and no one else is. Like the girls in the room are not doing it. Like they don't look cute. They're not dressed to any nines. So yeah.
I didn't recorded this video like 4 times and I'm at a point where I'm tired, but I do want to say, just to wrap this up here, the thing that is making the girls get up in a tizzy, specifically women and some of the gays, but specifically women, is the fact that what EJ just said. EJ said that, there was a point in his life where he was a kid and he would wear dresses and he would receive all this criticism. And his response to that, his inner response was, girl, I look better than all of y'all, and so forth, right? I'm paraphrasing. I say this to say, with all of these videos coming out with women who claim to be allies, right? And I'm not trying to call y'all out. I'm not trying to be divisive, but I'm just seeing this with women who I even know, who I've worked with, who are saying, oh my God, this isn't anti-trans when I have my opinion. And they're saying like, okay, but he's delusional. He doesn't look better than me. And it's just kind of like, they're saying like, they're posting these videos saying this isn't anti-gay, this isn't anti-gay, this isn't anti-trans. But he's delusional. It's one thing to have confidence. It's another thing to be delusional, right? And when I digest that, I'm just kind of like, okay, so you're hearing the competitiveness that he's basically pointing out, saying, you girls don't look as good as me or whatever. Now, EJ, see, this is where we got to clean this up. The dolls and the gays, some of us were like posting these videos and we're over here like, okay, maybe EJ is just not hearing what EJ is saying, or maybe EJ just doesn't care. But girl, when y'all get up on these podcasts and these interviews, y'all shake it up and y'all cause a conversation. And I see both sides because, and see, this is why people probably don't like my opinions or my takes, because I'm often able to see, all sides, or I try to at least. Maybe that's the journalist in me because I am, a journalist. But on one end, I could see why women are upset, because you literally called women to the mat. You literally said, oh, the girls are not looking like me. The girls are not popping like me. Right. But then on another end, I'm like, okay, it's okay to be confident, girl, because you should think that you are the baddest, right? When you walk into a room, your confidence, you should think, look, I got this on lock. I'm the baddest. I look good. You get me? I feel like everyone should have that, right? And my only thing that I want to point out here, and my goal once again is not to be divisive with women, is that another person's confidence in general, rather they're another woman, a gay boy, a trans, whatever they are, it should not shake you up. You should not be so upset about this person who thinks that they are the best thing since sliced bread. You get me? And that's not shade as I say that respectfully to EJ. I think that everyone should have that energy. Like when you dress, when you look good, you should feel yourself. You should feel your oats. I will say that I do think that people are coming at AJ like this because of how EJ looks. EJ's tall, EJ's chocolate, EJ's hyper femme, and EJ is playing into the whole catty thing, unfortunately, triggering this competition conversation, which some of us try to avoid because it's annoying, because it's like, whenever this happens, it literally contributes to that divide that exists in our community. And I say that respectfully, all due respect. You know, I love EJ. I think EJ is fabulous. This is not a call out video. It's just me mentioning and pointing out why people are upset. You know, people, women specifically, and some of the gays as well, are upset because of that, you know, by this being posted in this interview and shaking the girls up. You know, some of the girls don't like the confidence and they feel that EJ is delusional. But for me, I feel like you should feel that way. Like you should, as a person, if people are criticizing you, what you wear, and you know you look good, because that's the perspective that EJ was coming from, right? So I see why the anger is there, but once again, it annoys me. Like, it's so stupid to me because I'm just like, we are dragging this out. Like, we shouldn't be so concerned. You know, it's one thing to be like, okay, he likes straight men, they're all DL, I think they're all gay.
Okay, if anybody is babbling, this dude is babbling. I mean, dude is babbling. He is babbling. So anyway, no, it's okay for everybody to think they look good. But if you gotta trash someone, this is right up there with these black dudes that date white women. When they hook up with the white woman, they're spending their time trashing black women. That is a problem. If you were so much into your woman, you wouldn't even be thinking about that. And if EJ was so much into his lifestyle and about himself as whatever he considers himself, being looking better than other women and all that stuff should be irrelevant. And he can't look better than women because he's not a woman. He can't look better than a woman because he's not. It's like matching apples and oranges. I don't care what picture you show me of EJ, he still looks like a dude. I'm just saying, he still looks like a dude. So he's in this one-sided competition with women. And I'm sure these women, when he walks in the room and think he's dressed better than them, I'm sure they ain't even thinking about him at all. They probably ain't thinking about him at all. And no, I don't think he walks in a room and all the men want him and they're ignoring all the women, other women in the room, the real women. Okay, I don't believe that's happening. But if that's the story this dude wants to tell, you can tell any story you want, but I'm not buying it. And this dude, I'm just going to accelerate forward because at this point, he is just babbling on and on and on. And he's just really saying a lot of the same things. So let's get to this part.
Just as good as any woman that wears a skirt. I don't care how many wigs a man put on. I don't care how many nails. I don't care what dress you wear, what eyelashes you put on, or what makeup you put on. You will never beat a woman at being a woman. And then he goes on to say that he only dates straight men. No, sir. No, sir. Any man that is willing to lay down with EJ Johnson is not a straight man. With all due respect, a straight man won't even look your way. A straight man won't even give you the time of day. We got to stop putting this narrative on straight men like all straight men like men in some form of aspect. No, we don't. DL men that hide what they like, yeah, they might do it. But a real straight man, stop putting us in that category, man. Stop putting us in that category. It's like the world will not stop talking until they recognize all straight men as GAY. And I'm not going for it, bro. I'm not going for it for real.
Okay, this message is for EJ Johnson. Really think about what you're saying. The fact that you claim you only attract straight men, you're only attracted to straight men, and straight men are attracted to you. Think about what you were saying. If you are attracting men who are publicly straight, as in they date women, they have a girlfriend, a wife, to the public eye, they are a straight man, you are a secret to them. They are ashamed of themselves who they truly are, which is a gay man. They are ashamed of you. The second thing I want to address, the fact that he says he looks better than women in a dress. Now, I see why you're saying that, because you probably mess with men who tell you these things, because obviously you thought that was important enough to say in a public interview. So these gay men that you're messing with probably did tell you that. And that is true. Of course, they prefer you in a dress over a female because they are gay. They like men, they don't like women. So of course they're going to be more attracted to you in a dress than a woman, because they're not looking for a woman, they're looking for a man. So before we do these interviews, I'm gonna need you to really think about what you're saying before you say it, because what you're saying is nothing to be proud of.
EJ Johnson came out on an interview and said that he's in competition with a lot of women because he's dating a lot of straight men that's dating women. Sir, those are not straight men. Straight men do not date women and date men or do crazy shit with men on the low type shit. Like, that's crazy. I just want to know, to the women, how do you feel about that situation? Because one thing that I've noticed, especially on TikTok, a lot of the gays, a lot of the trans be coming on here talking about, oh, we're better than women, we're better than da da da, all this extra weird ass shit, right? And to me, I always find it baffling because getting on the internet and seeing that's a little wild. And then they had some people in the comments co-signing the bullshit. And to the straight women, right? How do y'all feel about that? Because me as a heterosexual male, I kind of looked at it like, see, you're not even, bro. I kind of looked at like, gee, you tripping, bro. Like, no, no. I'm tired of seeing these type of people come on here, right, and talk down on these women, oh, all this extra shit. Like, fam, you're literally cosplaying as women, right? And then on top of that, those are not straight men. You're just turning out DL men. Fam, part of growing up, bro, you will find out there was a lot of DL niggas, bro. And it'd be like the hyper masculine men. It'd be like, bro, it was weird, fam. Niggas used to DM you, yo, do you want to chill? Fuck no, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? And as a regular human being, I don't care about anybody's sexual preference. You could be gay, trans, straight. That shit has nothing to do with me. But as a woman, how do y'all feel about this situation? Because as of right now, a lot of them be talking mad greasy about these women, bro. And it's just weird.
Well, yeah, it's weird. Like I said, if he's into whatever he does, a woman should not even be on his mind. You do you, EJ, but when you start throwing out there, I walk in the room, I look better than all the women, and I'm cuter than them. I look better in my clothes. And no, you don't. No, you don't. And but you can believe whatever you want about yourself, you know, but no, no. All right. When I hear that and you are trying to compete, you're competing against something that really you can never beat. I think you know it. I think you are using what you're saying, you're just using that as a crutch. But deep down inside, you can never be a woman. In fact, at 6'7", yeah, that's why, people like you got to over exaggerate any of your feminism. Like you switch too hard, you use your over exaggerated mannerisms, and usually, y'all, even if they're far away from me, I can tell the difference when I'm in a room of women or somebody in the room is not a woman, but they're dressed as a woman. I can tell their mannerisms are always overly exaggerated. Even their speech is overly exaggerated. Like they try to add too much to it. And I can see it. Even when I remember one day I was in my car driving home and I was at an intersection and it was two prostitutes. And I knew they were prostitutes because of the area I was in, and I was driving home from work. And one was like 6'2". He had a wig on, had a little mini skirt on, and I was like, that hooker is a man. And I could see, and you could tell he walked different from the two that were really women. His walk was different. And I was like, no, that's a man in a dress and wig. But I remember seeing that, and I don't care how hard they try, you can tell. You can tell. And I was like, well, I guess he's making money. You know, he's out here with the rest of the hookers. He must be making something because he's show out here. But you could tell he had on a red, it was a black man. He had on a red auburn color wig, and he had on mini skirt, these big patent leather heels, and he was just walking along with the rest of the little prostitutes that were out there. And I'm thinking to myself, I could still see, but hey, maybe he got picked up. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Curly Locks 2129. Thank you so much for the super sticker and your support for my channel. But you know what? Most High is going to fix all of this. It's going to be a lot of things that we had to endure in Esau's world and in his kingdom that we won't have to ever put up with again. He won't be able to enforce or push all of this stuff on us ever again. And that's the bottom line. So it's this lifetime, but definitely not the next. Yeah. Actually, him and Baron are the same height. I think Baron is 6'7", just like EJ. Yeah, well, it is what it is. So he went out there and got the attention he was seeking, I suppose, in this whole thing. But if I see EJ on another video again, it will be way too soon. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I deeply appreciate it. And be on the lookout for my videos that I'll be posting tomorrow. And don't forget about the 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth product sale starting tomorrow, 40% off. Shalom, family.